Hello, everyone. My name is Umes Shrestha, and I'm a teacher and a teacher developer from Kathmandu, Nepal. And today I'm going to talk about my journey as a reflective teacher, and I'm going to share a few confessions of mine when I started teaching. Well, I'll come back to this one a bit later, but I wanted to give you a hint of what's coming. This is my story and my confession that when I started teaching, I was a massively underprepared teacher. I went into teaching without any formal trainings, and I had no education degrees or any background as such. Because here in Nepal, if you have a good English speaking skills, any private school can hire you. You just have to have that good speaking skills. I was so blinded by my so called superior English speaking skills that I became a very, very prescriptive teacher, dominating and even dismissive. I became the teacher I used to hate in my school. And on top of that, like in almost all the private schools in Nepal, my school also had this policy of speaking English inside the school premises. So the entire school was basically an English speaking zone, except for the few periods when the students were studying Nepali. So I thought I was doing a good job of teaching English until I got this feedback from some students. We like your English, but you are very rude. At first, I reacted and got defensive. This feedback seriously twisted my head and the heart. For many, many days, I just could not let it go. And I was very, very fragile inside my core. I felt that way. But thanks to that feedback, I started reflecting on my teaching, my practices, my habits, and my beliefs. And I dare to reflect because feedback, that feedback pushed me into some of my darkest thoughts and beliefs about teaching. And as I went into this journey of self-reflection, initially it was a very scary thought because what if I found the answers I was looking for or searching for? However, if I hadn't stepped into that chaotic part, I would not have found the order. And along the way, I hope I have become a better teacher. And today I'm going to propose you a few ideas about how to travel into that or how to step into that journey of self reflection so that you start searching for the answers you're looking for. So, here is a very helpful and useful framework for self reflection for any teacher. It has three layers. Layer one, the outer layer, is about reflecting on the content and environment of teaching. Layer two is about reflecting on teachers' habits, skills, and actions. And layer three is about reflecting on the core beliefs, values, and identity of a teacher. Let me go through these one by one. So, the first layer is about the content and environment of the teacher. And in this layer, you can ask yourself questions like what went well and what could have been better in the class? What could have been a better example or a topic or questions? And could there be better examples, structures, next time when I'm teaching this content in the class. So this is the reflection on the content and the examples and the structures and the environment. Maybe the classroom structure, maybe the way the classroom has been designed physically, all those things. Second layer is about reflecting on your own habits, skills, and action. And in this layer, you could ask questions like, what is one action that I do helps my student learn better? We might want to focus on the positive aspect of our actions and skills rather than on the weakness side first. Okay. So if we can understand our weakness, or if we can understand our strengths first, then hopefully we can amplify that strength and minimize the weakness. Another question could be, what do I do well and what I don't do well yet? So it could be about classroom management, it could be about engagement skills, it could be about asking and responding to the questions of the students. So what do I do well and what I don't do well yet? Similarly, another question could be about your habit, right? What is one habit that I need to learn, unlearn, and relearn? So you might have a habit of spending the first 5 minutes just talking in a very informal way. Okay. So if that habit of yours is not helping you to be an effective teacher, maybe you should change that habit. Maybe you should unlearn that habit and start with something else. Okay. So here is one recent habit that I unlearned. I'm going to ask you a question first. In an average, teachers respond to their own questions in how many seconds? All right. I hope you have some answers in your head. Right. So this happens usually when we are asking questions in the classroom. You ask a question and you immediately start responding to your own question. I picked this idea in a podcast I listen to almost every time. It's Teaching in Higher Ed. So according to the presenters in that podcast, they said that it it usually takes 1.5 seconds, just 1.5 seconds for a teacher to respond to their own question. Now you might have earlier thought 60 seconds, maybe 50 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. But here's the reality. A lot of us just don't like to listen, and maybe that that not noise, that silence when you ask the question, we don't actually enjoy that silence. We want immediate answers from the students, and we just start replying to the questions right away. So to change this habit, here's one thing that I have tried to implement in my teaching. It's called the 8-second rule. What you do is you ask a question, and then after that, you just keep quiet and start counting 8 seconds in your head, at least eight. It could be sometimes 10. Now, sometimes I have stretched it to even 30 seconds. I just kept quiet and looked at the students, and someone will definitely raise their hand and try to answer the question. So, the final layer or the core layer where we can reflect is the layer three. And here we can reflect on our beliefs, values, and identity as a teacher. So, a few guiding questions could be, what are my core values as a teacher? What do I have as the non negotiables in it? For example, warm but strict could be your core value as a teacher. Another could be relationship above content, could be a core value as your teacher. Another could be accountability and autonomy as a core value as a teacher, or maybe friendliness as a core value. Okay, so think about what are the values that are so intrinsic and so so ingrained in you as a teacher that you will never, never, never give up those values. Okay, so what are the beliefs about teaching and learning about you as well as your students? So a lot of teachers have this belief that if the students put on some effort, they will definitely do better. That's a very general belief. But contrary to that belief, some teacher might also have this belief about this particular student is good in maths but will never be good in science, right? So belief about students being good or better in some subject and not in other subject, and that might be, affecting your behavior towards the students, your expectations towards those students, because you have already believed that those students will not be good or better in that subject. What are your beliefs about how learning happens, how learning actually takes place inside the mind or brain of a student, or in the classroom or in the society? What are your beliefs? Okay. And similarly, what is your identity as a teacher? What do you like to see yourself as a teacher? Like, what are the metaphors and the stories that you have about yourself? Some very popular metaphors are as teachers as a guide, teachers as a coach, teachers as a gardener. Okay, so what is your identity as a teacher? What is the inner story that you tell yourself constantly about you and your teaching? And if we look back at this framework, this obviously is inspired by Simon Sinek's golden circle of why, how, and what, and also based on his book about titled Start with Why. Okay, first layer on the content and environment, second layer on your habits, skills, and actions, and third layer on your beliefs, values, and identity. Yeah, this helped me in a really significant way in trying to be reflective about my teaching identity and my teaching habits and skills and what I teach inside the classroom. There are a lot of frameworks for reflection and for self reflection. You can use any one of them, but what I want you to do, if you have not done it already, if you have not done it yet, is start this reflective journey. Start taking notes. After each class, you might give yourself 5 minutes or 10 minutes and start writing down what happened in that class based on these three layers. Or maybe you find some quiet place at the end of the day or at the end of the week, and you start reflecting on that week. What happened? How did that happen? Why did it happen? Yeah, I invite you to step into this self-reflective journey because this means a lot for you as a teacher, but at the end of the day, it will mean a lot for your students. Again, my name is Umes Shrestha, and I'm a teacher and a teacher developer from Kathmandu, Nepal.